Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Closing Time Podcast. I am joined today with Nicole Ward, the broker for Real of Ohio. Nicole, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
I'm really excited because you're not only a partner, but a friend in the industry. We've worked together a long time. I kind of had to earn my way into your good graces, but I think that says a lot about your character as a leader. And your story is inspiring because it's not the path that everybody has taken. You've been outspoken. You've been the noisy kid in the classroom, so to speak, but it's really set you as an industry professional, not just in our local area, but I think in our area as a whole. So I'm excited to talk to you about your choices to get into real estate from the military, and I'm excited to talk through your rise to leadership into becoming the broker for real. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me here today. This is exciting.
Absolutely. I want to kind of start because I like to know where you're coming from. I know you grew up north of me, Lakewood, right? Lakewood, Ohio.
Very good.
Tell me about growing up in Lakewood when it was kind of transitioning. It wasn't Lakewood today. So tell me a little bit about what that was like.
Gosh, Lakewood, man. I haven't been in Lakewood in a long time, but yes, I was there for my whole childhood, all the way through my mid-teen years. And it was very much Cleveland-like, like inner city living, it felt like. I know that a lot of people from the Lakewood area probably don't look at Lakewood that way now.
Yeah.
But when I grew up, we were city kids. We took the bus transit. We took the RTA bus to school.
Yeah.
We walked. There was no busing system. And the streets were so small. If you had to drive by another car, you couldn't. You had to pull over and let the other car go by.
Definitely.
So everything was in walking distance. And I really enjoyed my time growing up in Lakewood, and I got in a lot of trouble. Turned my life around, but that's where all the trouble began and built me to what I am today.
So you turned it around. So take me through your troubled years. When did you kind of start getting into trouble, and what kind of shifted you out of that?
I think the real question is, what didn't I challenge?
Yeah.
What didn't I challenge? I mean, it comes down to, in the younger years, and we could go into the psychology of what was really going on. But I think what it came down to is I wanted control over my own life, and I never really felt like I had control over myself or my own life. Everyone else had a part to play in the decisions that I made, what I wore, where I went to school, the friends I hung out with, the boys that I liked in middle school and elementary school. I mean, everybody had a say. And so I started making my own decisions, and it was very rebellious. I was running away from home. I even crossed state lines, running away from home multiple times. I went to go live with my dad because I didn't really give my mom and my stepdad a choice on the matter, and he was a drug addict. So if you've ever lived with a drug addict, you know that is extremely traumatic as a kid.
Yeah.
To witness that, be a part of it, and have no real roots.
Yeah.
To feel like you can rely on a parent. So, and there's a lot more there, but I was running away a lot. I was making my own decisions and deciding what I wanted to do. I was not going to school anymore. And one day, when I ran away one time, I was found and arrested. And after that.
About what age are you here?
I was 16.
Okay.
15, 16-ish. Can't quite remember. But I was found and arrested and brought home. But my parents, my mom was sneaky. Shout out, mom. But
all moms
my mom was sneaky with this one. She was a young mom. So every decision that she made when I was growing up was a decision where she felt like it was in my best interest. It was with good intentions. Even if I don't agree today as an adult and as a mother in those decisions, sure. I know that she made them out of love. But she put me with a family member after I was arrested and brought home so that I couldn't run away again. I was too far away from my own home because in Lakewood you could walk everywhere.
Right. Very easily.
And overnight, she contacted this company that does transfers of minors from where they live to a boarding school. And so she hired this service, contacted a boarding school, paid the fee for the year with the help of family. And they came and they picked me up in the middle of the damn night.
A kidnapping?
Like a kidnapping. They literally
Holy
came
shit.
into my grandparents' house, put me in handcuffs in the middle of the night, dragged me out of my grandparents' house, and put me on a plane and sent me to Montana.
It's like a Jerry Springer episode.
It really is. I really thought I was being kidnapped. And they kept telling me that your mom knows. Your mom is the one that made us do this.
How does that mold? Because you're 16, let's call it.
16.
How does that mold you 2 years away from hopefully graduating? Who knows at this point, I'd imagine, right?
Right.
How do you accept that having quote unquote freedom of choice and kind of running away to now being isolated in Montana? What kind of impact did that have on you?
I mean, the boarding school was very much like juvenile detention center.
Sure.
I mean, it was very much like that. The connection for me was that was the ultimate moment in my childhood where every choice was taken away from me. And when I say every choice, I'm talking when you're at this school, you couldn't even go to the bathroom with the door shut. You had to count out loud while you were in the bathroom so they knew you were alive. Like there was no control, there was no privacy, there was no autonomy to be who you are. So this is all happening. And I eventually do come home. And
how long were you there?
I was there a little over a year.
Okay.
And
so you're 17 going into potentially 18.
I was 17 when I got home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
17 when I got home. And, at this point in your life, if you think about like those junior and senior years of high school,
Yeah.
Most people are like, they're going to prom, they're looking at their life, they're looking at going to college. I'm looking at all of my friends are still in high school. I graduated high school and started college while I was in boarding school, all virtually.
Yeah.
So like when I came home, I wanted to start going to college and I didn't fit in. I didn't even have a driver's license. So I'm going to community college. I don't have a driver's license. I didn't fit in. And I was like, I have to go out into the world and do something. I need to figure something out and make my own choices. Ergo, I joined the military.
Yeah.
Which is another way to get choices made for you.
Well, I can follow the maybe comfort zone that maybe you felt unintentionally of like the boarding school structure and then going into the military. You joined, we just talked about this, 19, you took the ASVAB. You went in at 19 too?
Yes.
So transition, obviously trying to find your place to fit in. I assume you probably felt like you had no other choice or whatever other than college or military.
I did. I was like super lost. Like all of my friends that I left pre-boarding school were still in high school. And I didn't fit in with them anymore. I was a different person. I had just been kidnapped and lived somewhere else for a whole year. I didn't have any friends left.
The reality perspective that you have versus your friends, I'm sure made it very difficult to even relate to them when you were talking to them.
Completely. And I know that while I was gone, there were people that went looking for me. And this is really, really in detail, but I even had friends that drove by my parents' house and shot out the windows and this was the crew I was hanging with, mind you, but because they thought that some of them probably thought I was dead because I just
locked
disappeared.
In a basement or something.
Yeah, I just disappeared and nobody knew where I went. So yeah, when I came home, I did want to like engage with those people, but it was like a different life. It was like a different human.
You're in a different spot in your life completely at that point.
So I decided to join the military and start fresh and do my own thing. And I did. And I went off to boot camp. And you were in the Air Force, high five, fellow vet.
Right.
So I went off to boot camp, went off to tech school, thought I fell in love, got married like half the people do in tech school.
God.
That didn't end well.
Right.
That was abusive. And you know what? Fun fact that I'm not going to go into, but the person that I married also had the same addiction that my dad did. And I didn't know. I'm thinking, you're in the military. How do you get away with a drug addiction? That didn't happen. And so we ended up parting ways. I parted ways with not the military completely, but I transferred into the Air National Guard and then transferred home. And so after like this time of my life where I went to boarding school and I spent all this time in the military, I was a heavy equipment maintenance technician. All of this happened. I was married. I was divorced. I was trying to figure out who I was as a human. I had no real high school graduate. I had nothing.
You lived a whole life in like 5 years.
I did. I grew up really, really fast.
Yeah.
And all that time, I was never the drinker, never the partier, like the traditional military person.
Right.
I was always the designated driver.
The responsible
one.
Fun police.
Which is hard to believe. You went from being arrested to the responsible friend.
Friends are shooting out windows.
Right.
Yeah,
I know. Right. So, and then I finally came home. And that's really where the journey of my life as an adult began. Even though I was an adult in the military, I think I was still acting out some of my experiences that I didn't get to experience in high school because of boarding school.
You kind of regress in those first couple of
I
years.
did. I did. I made some poor decisions. I got married to someone I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I I came home, and that's where really part 2 of my life begins and transforms me. I take all of that and I look at it as like, if you're religious in any way, you have, BC and AD.
Yeah, right.
You have all
Yep,
of those
yep.
things. So I look at my life as pre-military before I came home as the BC, and then the rest of it is the AD. So that's where the real story begins.
When did your AD start? What age?
I guess I was 23.
Okay.
23.
And I think that's important because there's a lot of science that points out that you have 2 lives. You have your first life, and then you have the second life when you realize that you only have one life.
Right.
And you got there a little faster because at 23, I sure as shit didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
I was just going into the military at
Right.
that point. So as a 23-year-old coming out of the military, talk to me about your transition into civilian life. And then how did you decide to get into real estate, which absolutely has no structure whatsoever when you start? Talk to me about that transition.
So and I will try to keep this short because
No,
I
yeah.
could write a novel, like a very fun, dramatic novel about my life. But so when I came home from the military, I still was seeking that independence and control of my life that I had been looking for to begin with. Because
Yeah.
I didn't find that in the
Right.
military.
Well, you're told what to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not only was I told what to do, but I shackled myself by marriage to somebody who was just not good for me.
Yeah.
And so when I came home, I actually reconnected with an old friend of mine. Her name's Christina. And I reconnected with Christina, who I had known since I was like 6 years old. And she was also in a transition stage in her life. And I needed a moment in my life of complete independence where I wasn't dependent on a man. I wasn't dependent on my parents. I wasn't dependent on the military or school or someone to provide me something. So I moved in with her. And I had a year before I met my now husband of just being on my own, going to school. I graduated from college with my GI Bill. And I did all these things. And I really gained that confidence and independence and rebuilt who I am, what I want out of life, and what I stand for. And so right during that towards the end of that year is when I met my now husband, Dan. And you know Dan
Shout
very
out
well.
Dan.
Shout out Dan. And he was the beginning of the complete and utter happiness and joy that I have in my life now, because it was because of him that I got into real estate. It was when we first started dating. I was just graduating college out of the military. And we were on a date watching TV, and the Howard Hanna $1 Million Listing channel came on. And he's like, hey, you could do that. You could sell those beautiful houses. And I was like, yeah, I totally can. And so I went to real estate school, got my real estate license, even though I had went to school for a psych degree. And I got my real estate license, knew nothing about building a business or real estate, but inherently knew that when I choose to do something, I do it all in 100% all the way. And that's really how my real estate career started. And that was 2015.
Now, 2015, and I think that story speaks to who you are because we talked about when you got here, like speed to implementation, speed to decision, speed to, I'm going to say it one time, but like, fuck it, let's see where it goes. You know what I mean? So 2015, you're starting off. How did you build the structure that you knew you needed to be successful? Because obviously you're somebody that's, if you set your mind to something, like you said, you're going to accomplish it. What were your first steps to like figuring out, okay, this is what success looks like in a real estate business?
So, it's funny because a lot of agents getting into the industry, they're interviewing brokers, deciding where they want to go. And I did that, except the question I asked is, how much are you going to pay me while I'm in training? Because, I was a military person, and, you get paid to go to training. And I remember I got laughed at right out of the first broker that I interviewed. I got laughed out of there. That's how much I understood about real estate.
Yeah.
But what I did in the beginning, and this is what I tell every agent coming into the industry, and it made the biggest difference in the world, is I am such a firm believer that you are your people. You are your tribe. Your vibe is your tribe, just like you said earlier.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite sayings. And so I found people that I vibed with in the real estate industry, which is hard to find that authenticity, but it's there. If you look for it, it's there.
Yeah.
I found that. I found my tribe, and I latched on and didn't let go. And I worked my ass off every day. I showed up. I did 4 open houses a weekend. I went to all of the meetings. I called all the people. I did all of the things, and I went to all the listing appointments with other agents and expected nothing in return,
Right.
but I wanted to learn. And so I spent that first year, I even followed them from brokerage to brokerage. This group of people, when they left one brokerage and went to another, and then left that brokerage and went to I followed them. And I built this like business for myself because I would not stop. I would not let go. I would not let up. And I would not accept failure as an option.
Yeah. If you operate to a standard, the outcome doesn't matter because you're always playing to that standard.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something that's important. Number one, doing the dirty work. But number two, the vibe attracts your tribe really is mentorship. Like you found people that were doing what you wanted. How did you find, first of all, how did you define your vibe? How do you define your vibe as a business? Because everybody always talks about branding. You've been able to kind of define that. How did you get your voice or find your vibe? And then how did you find your tribe? Like, what was that process like to really dive in? I'd imagine some vulnerability there in a new.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, one of the things that I struggled with my whole life is I would always place my trust in somebody that didn't deserve it. And so there was two pathways from that, right? The first pathway is you place your trust into somebody and they take advantage of it. And you just get pounded out of the system. You are just like, beaten with a hammer.
Chewed up and spit out.
Yeah, chewed up and spit out. And then you place your trust in with somebody who values that for the gift that it is and the blessing that it is. And you're just taken into the next level. And you are proven to yourself and to them that this is real. And so that's what I did is I found people whose loyalty was there, who deserved my trust. And even to this day, I don't necessarily talk to a lot of those people anymore because the longer you get to know somebody, sometimes the true intentions are there. But at the time, what I needed from them and what they needed from me, we trusted each other. And I took that and I ran with it. And so that's the type of people that I followed, was the people that I trusted, the people that took what I asked and gave me, not necessarily a silver platter. I don't want to say nothing was ever handed to me on a silver platter, but gave me the tools that I needed to be successful and believed in me. And I think there's so many selfish people in this industry that only care about the dollar. And I've always been a people first person and the dollar will follow.
Yeah.
So if you act and lead with kindness and you act and lead with authenticity, the money's going to follow you because you're real. You're who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
So I love that because you took what you needed. You led with value. Like you said, you didn't expect anything in return. I'd imagine that kind of helped shape a young realtor's core values and like how you're making decisions. So now you're leaving that group of people and you've been able to accomplish amazing things. You're a 6-time Icon Award, over 2 brokerages. You're a top 5% in all agents in the state of Ohio. Obviously, the broker for real. You've been a veteran. Talk to me about the transition away from them and starting into the leadership where you're pouring into other agents. Where did that start and why did that then become your focus as you evolved in your business?
So it evolved slowly. And I want to say there's like a running joke in the industry, and you know this too. Like, I sell 3 houses, I could be a coach. I'm just going to start coaching people. It's like I sold a couple houses this year and I could tell anybody how to do it. And I think I did have a little bit of that ego in the beginning. Like, I was full of the fact that I had been successful. And because of that, my first instinct is I want to share that with other people. I want to share in this happiness and joy with other people.
Lift everyone.
And I think I saw one of your questions on here, how you made it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to incorporate that in
Sure.
answering this question.
I think it's great.
And when I first got in the industry, I'm thinking, I just want to make like $50K. If I can make $50K, that's good money. And this is 2016. And I'm like, okay, $50K, I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. And the moment I knew I made it is by year 3, I made 6 figures. And I was 26.
Yeah.
So I'm a 26-year-old, woman, just graduated college.
2019 at that point. Yeah.
And I was looking at my bank account and I had made 6 figures. And I'm like, man, I know friends of mine that graduated college that are, doctors now or trying to be, that don't make 6 figures. So I'm like, I made it, man. I made it. So I was like full of myself. I had this ego. I'm making all this money. I'm doing really good. But where the cracks came in and what really separated me from being a part of someone else's business growth And what defined the moment where I became, I'm going to do this for myself only and for my family and make this my thing, is I started to recognize other people in the industry that were really good at pretending to care about you, but only caring about their own bottom dollar. And that was not me. That's not how I roll. That's not how I operate. I lead with kindness, and I want the best for everyone around me first. And if it means I take a sacrifice on my end, I will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
going to put myself in the poorhouse, but I will make sacrifices. And so I decided at that moment I needed to leave this brokerage. I needed to leave this group of people, and I needed to start somewhere fresh and new. And so that's when I made the move over to Real. And caveat, this was about a year or two into my team. So I had already gone from being an individual agent to growing a team. And shout out again to Dan, my husband, because I would have never done that if Dan didn't say, this is the business step we need to take.
I love Dan just giving you the confidence to just full send
He's
everything
my rock.
too. I mean,
He's
it
my
takes a
rock.
team. It really does.
It does. He is the opposite of me. I lead with feeling and he leads with numbers, just like you.
Hey, you got to have somebody that's going to support the craziness,
Right.
you know?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, he's great. We started this team. I separated from this group of where I felt like it was just a negative energy and I couldn't put any more of my own positive energy into that. Separated and went to Real, and they didn't have the best leadership at the time for the state. And so I'm sitting here. I had previously watched another brokerage grow from 5 agents to thousands. I'm over here leading a team of agents, answering the phone all the time, helping other agents grow businesses. At this point, I'm teaching CE classes. I'm helping other agents grow their business. I'm mentoring them.
Yeah.
So I'm like in this phase of where I just love and I get this joy out of teaching people how to feel that I made it, that I had felt when I made 6 figures. So I get there, I move over to this brokerage, and I'm like, this leadership needs an adjustment. So I went and I got my own broker's license and tried to help here and there. And when the time came and the company said, we need a changeover of leadership, I was the first call they made. And it was not something I looked for or applied for. They called me and they said, we need you, and will you do this? And I interviewed for it and I got it. And so now it's been February will be 1 year that I've been the broker for Real. And it has been,
Hell yes.
right? We have 400 agents
Yeah.
as of yesterday.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Shout out to Real of Ohio. And it has been the most fulfilling and amazing roller coaster of a ride. I love watching it grow. And most importantly, I love seeing the kindness and the collaboration that these agents have with each other at this company. It is just phenomenal. And I've been at a lot of brokerages.
Yeah.
And I've been at local brokerages, and this is a virtual brokerage, but I've never felt closer and more in sync and in tune and more collaborative at any brokerage than I have at this company. And it's going to bring me to tears because it's such an amazing place to be.
I love that because it sounds like it matches everything that you kind of stand for.
Core values, man.
And it's so fun to hear you tell that story because I can hear the rebellious Nicole in the success story of that. Because like, you're okay, this leadership sucks. I'm going to get my broker's license. Everybody's going to know I have my broker's license. So I love that, again, speed to action, speed to implementation. Had you not done that, you wouldn't have been in the position for them to even call you. So before we move on, because I have another question, I want to throw a quote to you and get your thoughts. A principle isn't a principle until it costs you money.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel? Because you've kind of exemplified that. You left a successful area in a brokerage. We're not going to name the brokerage. But you kind of recognized, okay, hey, this doesn't match my core values. I have to make a pivot. Do you have other instances where like you've had to kind of make a decision based on your character that maybe wasn't, you mentioned taking a hit. Does that resonate with you at all?
It does. So, man, way to put me on the spot with that one,
That's
Kyle.
my job. We got to be raw here. I want some good stuff here.
I'm always going to lead with my loyalty and my core values. And I'm never going to take less than what I feel like is deserved or earned. You know, I feel like deserving something is earning it.
Mhm.
You know, shouldn't ever be handed something. You should work for it. But we're at this stage now where I've grown. And this is a team thing, not necessarily a brokerage thing, because I have a team too, right? So I have the team and I have the brokerage. Yep, the key group.
Yep.
And we're at this phase now where all of the agents in our brokerage, not all of them, but the majority of the top selling agents who have done 6, 7, 8 million in this area, that's quite a few transactions.
Absolutely.
They're ready to move on from the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it's heartbreaking for me because the team is doing so well and I've poured into them so much, but it's a good problem to have because it means that they went from closing 3 or 4 deals a year to now they want to do their own team. Now they're ready to grow into the next level. And so it's going to cost me money because when they leave, the team's going to lose that production.
Right.
But you know what? It's an opportunity to bring more agents in who need me, who need my coaching, who need my development, who need Dan to help them develop and coach into the next capping agents and producing agents. So yes, I could let them leave with hate in my heart, which a lot of brokerages do that when agents leave. But I am letting them leave as friends, shaking hands, giving hugs.
Yeah.
And saying, I'm so happy that you've made it to this point in your life.
It's a mama bird thing. You kind of see it's your coaching tree as you go through. Yeah. So,
and it's fulfilling to know that I played even the smallest part to help them make it.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, make it.
And that feeling. So I love that. We have a couple minutes still. Are we good? Okay. I want to shift because obviously now you're the boss. You're running.
I'm the boss.
You're running the show. You've had experience establishing culture on a smaller scale. What challenges are you facing with the virtual side to establish that culture? Obviously, it sounds like it was there, but are you facing anything? Because obviously we're all remote and everything. So what do you do from a leadership standpoint to tackle some of those culture challenges that you might be running into as you're growing quickly? I mean,
we are growing quickly. 400
agents in 2 years since you've been here? Like that's a pretty aggressive clip.
Yeah, I will say so. I mean, there's a couple of significant challenges. One of the challenges that I think is probably the most prominent when it comes to like a virtual brokerage is that agents really want that one-on-one relationship with me.
Yeah.
And I will say though that if you want that with me, you've got it with me. The agents that reach out, the agents that plug in, that do for themselves and don't expect to be handheld or babysat, because there are agents out there that just want everything handed to them. And if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with that. There's teams out there that will spoon feed you leads and you can make a good living and just stay on that team forever. There's people that do that. But for true entrepreneurs and business owners and people that want to go to the next level, they do engage with me as their broker. They do reach out to me. They do want me to be a part of their business growth. And so I'm there.
Yeah.
That's definitely a challenge is I may not have the time every day to respond to your text right away.
Right.
But I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to help you. And I would say that would be one of the bigger challenges. Another challenge is I'm a baby broker. You know what I mean?
You're learning.
I'm learning.
Yeah,
there's brokers out there in the US and in Ohio that have been doing it for 40 years, being a broker. I have been in the industry for 10 years, but I've only been a broker for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And a designated broker for 1 year. So like there are questions that people ask me to this day that stump me. And so I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I have to ask I have to ask the right, questions to get the right answers. But what I will say, and my agents know this, is that you probably will not find a broker who will have your back better than me. Like I will. If you're right or if you're wrong, I'm still going to have your back. I'm going to counsel you. I'm going to tell you where you went wrong. But I'm going to have your back no matter what, because that's how I am. I've got you.
Yeah. Oh, I've experienced that as a vendor partner. I mean, it's you always fight for your people. I think that's why even as agents grow, they still stay in your circle. They stay in the brokerage. They want to grow and still have access to that because of your abundance mindset.
That, and I think that so many brokers in this industry are so far removed on what it's like to be a high producing selling agent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the brokers have been doing it for 40 years. They've been a broker for 40 years. When's the last time they sold 20 houses in a year?
Yeah.
They don't.
When's the last showing they went to?
Well, exactly. They're so far removed to what's going on in the industry right now and how to talk to clients and how to talk to other agents. And I feel like one of the biggest value adds that I have for my agents in this company is that I know.
Yeah.
I'm still in it. I still run the team. Now, mind you, I'm stepping out of it, but I'm never going to stop keeping my headspace where it needs to be. I'm
your boots on the ground.
I'm boots on the ground. Like I get you. I got you and I get you.
Do you think that's your biggest value proposition for agents?
No.
What do you think it is?
You're going to laugh at me.
I'm not.
I think it aligns with everything that we're saying, though.
Yeah.
My biggest value prop, both to my team and to my agents, is that I legitimately care
Yeah.
about your health, wealth, and happiness.
Yeah.
I legitimately want your family to have a great Christmas. I legitimately want you to go on that Caribbean vacation.
Yeah.
I want you to live your best life. And I actually care about it. And this is not you're walking into a military recruiting center and they're going to promise you all the things. So you come over to this.
Keep your hair if you could put it
Right.
on your hat.
Brokers are so known, and brokerages are so known for making all of these promises. And we're a family, and this is how we. But that's what they're taught to say. I'm here to say that it really is real. This is how we operate, and I really want you to do well.
I think it's simple, but it's not easy because it takes a lot of energy to invest in people and actually care.
It's a great way to say it.
It
is simple. It is very simple. Don't reinvent the wheel. It is so simple.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's not easy.
It's to stay consistent with that. And I heard this quote from Jimmy Carr. I'm a big quote guy recently, but happiness comes from giving the world irrefutable proof of you are who you say you are.
Authenticity, man.
And I think that's something. Do you think that that's the main theme for agents in 2026? Like being authentic and like getting out there?
100%.
So how would you recommend they incorporate that? Because a lot of us, you're comfortable in front of a camera. I'm comfortable in front of a camera. It is what it is. How are you helping Aaron, some of those agents that maybe are just kind of stepping in front of that? How are you helping them find their authenticity and not be afraid of that?
Well, I think it comes down to like, you get a lot of agents that join the industry that are like, I need to create a separate Facebook profile or Instagram profile just for real estate. Well, then what you're doing is you're putting on a persona. You're creating a profile of yourself that isn't the true you.
Interesting.
And yeah, and so by doing that, you're not Target or Nike. Am I allowed to say that? You're not one of the big brands that's out there.
Don't beep it.
Right. You're not one of those brands that has hundreds of millions of dollars of funding to put your brand out there and grow your brand just because it's a brand.
Yeah.
Your brand as a real estate agent in your local market, local community where you're selling homes is who you are. It's your authenticity to you. It's who you are, what you want to be, what you represent. And so when you're coming into this industry, a lot of people are thinking, I'm a salesman. And I'll ask, let me ask you, Kyle, let me ask you a question. What are you selling if you're a real estate agent?
What are you selling if you're a real estate agent?
What do I sell?
Lifestyle. You're selling an idea of what somebody hopes their American dream looks like.
Okay. I would say that's a good answer, but not the answer I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I would ask everyone else in this room, but I don't think they would know either.
I'm curious. So like, what is...
You're selling yourself.
All right. That's fair. Simple, but not easy.
Simple,
okay.
but not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. You are selling yourself. People choose to work with you, not because the brokerage you have above your name, not because of the tools that you provide or all the technology that you have. They want to work with you because they trust you and they know that you're the professional that's going to get them where they need to be. Ergo, you need to sell yourself.
Yeah, you are the niche.
You are the niche. You are the brand. You are selling yourself to these people. And how can you do that and not be authentic? If you're a fake person, I don't know about you, but when I talk to somebody who's not being themselves, I can smell it from a mile away.
Yeah.
And I want nothing to do with it.
Right.
If you have commission breath,
yeah.
and all you want is a commission at the end of the day, and you don't care about these people's goals and dreams and hopes for their family, it comes through.
Oh, yeah.
So the best way to sell real estate and to grow your business, agent attraction, if that's something you're working on, or to sell more houses, whatever it is to be yourself and be authentically you, and the rest will follow. I like how he just did mic drop.
Yeah. I mean, your vibe attracts your tribe. I mean, it goes all back to that. Do you think that that's the most important advice that you've received in your career?
100%. There's nothing else. I mean, keyword consistency.
Sure.
If I were to give you a keyword and one bit of advice to walk away with, my keyword would be consistency in everything you do, including being authentic. Because you can't be authentically you, but be secret about it.
Yeah.
You can't just post to social once every 2 weeks and expect people to know who you are authentically.
Oh, I'm learning that. Yeah.
You have to put yourself out there. You have to pretend that your life is on TV. This is the Truman Show.
Yeah. You're the main character.
You're the main character of your own show. People need to know you. And the more they know you, the more they're going to trust you. And the more they trust you, the more they're going to want to work with you. So that's going to be my big time advice for any agent who's growing a single business, any person who wants to grow a team, any person who wants to be a broker or anything is Be authentically you and be loud about it. Be proud about it.
And I think it's so interesting because I've read a lot recently that like personal brand is more important than the company. And it even goes beyond our stuff. You asked earlier, can you say Elon Musk? But like 10 years ago, we didn't know who all these CEOs were. We didn't know who Jamie Dimon was. We didn't
Right.
like some of us, sure, but like the personal brand has become more important than the company. And I think that becomes more true because the authenticity you
Mhm.
have, oh, okay, you're going sled riding, you're relating to people, and
Right.
you know, you're meeting these individuals and you want that lifetime relationship with them. So I like that a lot. Um, what what other advice? Authenticity aside, I want business side. Let's be that. What piece of business advice changed your perspective as you were growing into your leadership role?
Okay. I mean, I could talk about this for a long time, but I'll break it down. I'll make it short and sweet. All right. Have a plan.
Yeah.
And when I say have a plan isn't I want to make $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
A plan is, you know, when you work at McDonald's, you go to your shift, you clock in, you know that you're flipping burgers for the day. That's the station that you're on. And then you clock out and you go home and you don't take your work home with you. In real estate, you don't have a boss that's watching you to make sure you're flipping those burgers. So you need to wake up and clock in every day. You have to clock in. And so when you clock in, when I say have a plan, I mean, pick a few activities that you can do every single day consistently to grow your business. Maybe you're going to do 4 open houses a week. Maybe you're going to make 50 phone calls a day. Maybe you're going to send out 10 cards a day, or maybe you're just going to have 5 meaningful conversations a day with people.
I love
Either
that
way.
one. That one's
And
yeah.
any of those things, whatever your plan is, have a plan, know how much time it's going to take to complete it, and do it consistently every day and be authentically you. And you will see this grow. And last but not least, surround yourself with people who are doing where you want to be.
I like that one. Yeah. I
Always one step ahead.
compound
Right?
interest
Yes.
as you're going and surround yourself with people that are already doing what you want.
Yes.
I have one final question. 16-year-old Nicole walks in
Oh, God.
and she sits down. Is she proud of you?
16-year-old Nicole is going to walk in here and be like, damn, you did it. I can't believe it.
That's awesome. What advice would you give her in that moment?
I would tell her to stay resilient because that's the only thing that's going to get you through the next few years of your life.
Yeah. You feel like that's held up over your course? Resiliency kind of been the theme?
I think if I should get it tattooed anywhere on my forehead, the word would be resilience.
I love it.
I think resilience is so crazy and important because, you know, the idea of resilience is that no matter what, you're going to make it through. And I truly believe that, you know, God has never given me something that I can't handle. And every time I go, I'm not going to make it through this. And then I do, and I see the other side. I just go, that was preparation for something that's going to be harder down the road. And it just made me a lot stronger.
I love that perspective. It's a lot of, if you ask for patience, are you given opportunities to be patient so you can practice, or are you given patience? And it's always
Right.
the challenge of that. So I want to leave the floor open just to kind of wrap up. Is there anything else you want to share? This has been fantastic. I really appreciate, like, you went a little deeper. I learned a lot about you here today.
It's not stuff I talk about on a
man,
regular
I
basis.
truly, I'm grateful for you sharing. I think it's important because a lot of us see us in our successful positions and don't realize that we've had questionable past or we've made
Right.
tough decisions. So anything you want to leave for anybody listening that
I
you
do.
want to, yeah, go ahead.
So earlier you said I brought up Elon Musk, but I
Yeah.
said that off camera.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, you know, if you're thinking about listening to this podcast or listening to this episode, I was just saying that I think a podcast is most interesting when you've got some juice, you've got some drama, and you've got good value all in one. So I'll say if you're getting ready to listen to this podcast, just know that I'm going to spill the juice. I'm going to spill the tea. I'm going to spill the value, and I'm going to talk about all the things that you probably didn't know about me. But at the end of the day, I think you will walk out with a different perspective on growing your real estate business just from one person who did it.
Yeah. I would say you followed your core values of authenticity. You've definitely been very honest through this. And like I said, I learned a lot. I always get a lot from our conversations. So
Me too.
thank you very much, Nicole.
And just like Elon Musk said,
yeah,
if you don't feel like you're going to get any value out of this in the first 5 minutes, jump off.
There you go. That's why he runs his meetings the way he does.
Thank you, Kyle.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's all we got today. Thank you so much for listening. And Nicole, thanks for traveling down. Despite technical difficulties, we made it. And I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.